Oh, this is an interesting internet connection.
Interesting internet connection. That's the way to put it.
Not
Google,
as
you're
good as it
giving
was
us
last time.
interesting internet connections.
Where was the last one we did? Was that at Smon's house? We had a really good connection for one of them.
Yeah, well, that's Mon's house.
What's up, dude?
You know. You know it all, Mike.
It's too bad about Steve-O. I was really hoping to have him on this talk.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been good. He said he had a late night last night. He wasn't home.
I did too, but you see, the thing is, when you're on the East Coast, the late night isn't that big of a deal. Come 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, it's actually 9 o'clock.
Yeah, right?
Looks like Steve dropped the ball on that one, huh? Huh? Whole West Coast.
Yeah. Oh, he's. Can you hear me?
That's better. Yeah, that's way better.
Okay. Cool. You look like a freaking cyborg.
I look like a side. Oh, because I'm all just like wired up.
Yes. I have come to recycle your furniture. Beep, 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 beep.
Give me your furniture. We will have furniture.
Yes. It is made of metal furniture only.
Psy furniture.
Would you say Psy?
Psy furniture, like cyborg furniture.
Oh, yeah. It's like sci-fi.
It's kind of like sci-fi, except if it wasn't like sci-fi.
It's sci-fi.
Sci-fi. So,
So,
can you hear that noise, like that scratchy noise?
is it me moving papers?
No. If you can't hear it, then it's probably not a big deal.
I don't hear any noise.
Very good. That means that my lavalier microphone is working primo.
Okay, cool. So. We talked a couple nights ago, so we're like pretty well caught up on life.
I think so. I mean, a lot can happen in a couple of days. A lot's happening today, at least here on my end. So it's like a crazy, crazy busy day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I actually almost, I'm not going to lie, I forgot to put this on my whiteboard, and I was running around trying to get things done on my whiteboard, and you texted me like, ready? And it was like 11:59, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, man, always really glad to do a two schmuck session, because this is kind of that, if we're going to talk today potentially about work play balance, this is like right there in the middle.
Yeah, that's true. We can get right into that then. Is there any way you want to start that or talk about that?
What would be the best way to kick that off? I guess just to really start like spitting out ideas. Like, what is work play balance? Like, what does it mean to work hard then play hard? And are they potentially one and the same? Are they sometimes different? Do they sometimes have to be different, or can they always be the same? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think ideally they're the same. That's what my goal is anyway, to be. All right, see you there. To be playing, and I guess the only way that it depends how you define the words, of course, but work is typically defined as making an income for and making a living out of, I think. But if I could be, or if anybody could be making a living out of the things that they're playing with, because playing is the most fun with anything. You want to be playing as much, I think, as you can, at least. I think so. And so just the most playing that you define as work, or the most work that you define as play, the better.
What about in the sense of partying, where you're not working, but you're playing? Like, in the least, if you want to define, also put productivity, to tag on productivity to the word work, as in there is something productive yielded from it, what would you consider playing, as far as like just kind of like having drinks and having fun and not focusing on any sort of output? Although there may be output, like having like a good time with people, like maybe that's productive in a social way, but it's not really work in a social way. So I think there is a separation, at least in that area.
Yeah, well, I think that it can still be work in a way. Like a lot of people do work at parties, and that's their life. Or like I don't know, people who are like DJs or musicians who are like that's like did they work at parties or
But are they
well,
themselves okay? So when they're working at parties, they're not necessarily partying. Like there's a difference between a DJ working a Sweet 16 or a nightclub and actually going out to a nightclub and getting drunk with their friends and dancing.
yeah, that's true. Well, I guess that
And then there's like 95% of, or 99.9% of people that aren't DJs.
yeah, right. Uh, I don't know. I mean, it's valuable just to get completely away from work, I think, and just focus on playing, even when there's no work or productivity there. Sometimes I think like it can be just nice to just get away and party, or just to do something that's not like partying, but like take a couple months off and like I don't know, hike the Appalachian Trail or something like that, which I guess probably under most definitions wouldn't be work. It's more like play, but I don't know if it's play either. But it's like it's not productive in most senses of work, but it's I don't know. It's valuable though.
Yeah, I think you have to use the term valuable because it's not necessarily like you said, like there's not a tangible output, but it's still good for your spirit and good for your soul. And when people talk about taking vacations or a break from like the everyday grind, they come back more refreshed. So it also like plays into, in a sense, your work productivity. Like over your average of a month, if you work 30 days versus working 20 days and playing 10 days, like your outputs, I think, in the work zone are probably higher if you have also incorporated playtime into that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like I think what we were talking about last time, in that we were talking about flow, and I was mentioning how we're kind of talking about it a lot, and then one thing I said that I think directly related to it a lot, I don't think I explained it so well, was that flow is both an end in itself and a means to an end. Like it's fun and it's just what I want to be doing, and it's just like it's the most exciting thing to be doing, getting in that flow state, whether it be I don't know whatever the means to get in, but then also it's means to an end in that getting in that flow state or playing in whatever way. Playing is a lot of times how you get a flow state. Is a means to an end in whatever your end is. If it's work better, be more productive at this, raise your sales or whatever it is, the more that you play, the more that you get in flow, then the more, I don't know, sort of primed our minds are, the more ready we are to do stuff good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you avoid play, you naturally end up needing play. Like people would get like, oh my God, I'm too stressed out. I just need to like put all this down and go do something fun, as
Yeah.
opposed to finding a balance that actually works for them throughout the day to incorporate play. I think that's why people have to take breaks from things, and why the best companies in the world, like the Googles or the, pretty much like the Googles, the Googles of the world, as far as corporations, have incorporated like a lot of fun things into their office spaces or their open floor plans, where they have like either ping pong or like arcade games or like a break room with like a lot of fun stuff in it.
Volleyball.
Or volleyball. Yeah. I've never worked at a company that had volleyball, but that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Or why people even get together outside of work and they kind of bond over playtime, but it also builds teams, and within your work experience, it like bolsters a team effect. Like you can build a team by hanging out outside of work and then being more productive at work because you have better communication from the team building of the playtime.
Yeah. I think that's something that people have begun to value a lot more recently, and there's a lot of the newer companies that are embracing it more, I think. And it's only been, I don't know, maybe past few decades that people have realized just how important it is. I think there's been scientific studies on differences between people or different kinds of animals with play and without play, and people have realized like, whoa, play is good. Yeah, and I think that maybe, at least in a lot of movies that I've seen from like the 90s and 80s, there's always that character of that guy who was like way too stressed out and he always worked and he never played anything. He's like, plays for kids. But now everybody's kind of realizing, or not everybody, but some people are kind of realizing that the play can help you overall. And like you said, it like can build skills and have all sorts of benefits associated with it. There's this book that I was reading called Super Better by Jane McGonigal, where she talks about like the benefits of gaming and the benefits of play. Her backstory is that she hit her head on a cabinet by accident, and she had like a really bad brain injury, which she almost died from. And she thought she was going to die. Like she was really down for like months and months, and she had like really low brain activity, but she kind of got out of it by inventing a game for herself, like where she got like like friends and family involved, and she asked them to like help her complete tasks, which were really simple in the beginning, and then it kind of worked for her. And then she wrote this whole book about how that worked and like the research that's behind it, how playing games, like it increases something called self-efficacy, which is like the idea that when you play a game and you win, it kind of like builds self-confidence. It shows you, oh, I can do that, and then you can apply that to other things like work. And there's all sorts of stuff like that that it like makes you better at certain things when you play more. And like in a meta way, not just in that game specifically, but in other things, other games or other non-games.
It's interesting. I think that's another reason why it's really important to be like diversified. Is there a massive echo going on right now? Do you have me coming through a speaker?
I don't hear it. Is it when I talk or you talk?
It's when I talk. I think it's feeding back through the mic.
Oh, okay. Let me try turning this off. And how can I do this? Okay, I think I know what to do.
I realized before also I was watching my little icon, and I realized that it looked like I was masturbating. And just so anybody who was watching this knows, I wasn't. I was actually using this little block here to polish my nail, and this is what it looked like. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I noticed that. At first I thought you were just like really nervous or something. I was like, oh, he's doing something.
No, I'm not nervous. I actually discovered this thing. It's actually four-sided. It's a cube. So there are 3 grains of like almost like sandpaper. There's like a coarse one, which is a gray side.
I can't hear you. I did the wrong thing.
Okay.
I did the wrong thing.
Yeah, technology.
Everything is changing.
I feel like you should hire somebody to figure out your AV situation for you.
Okay.
You can stop.
I know what to do.
Can you still not hear me?
I've got an idea. I gotta undo that thing I just did. I gotta plug it back in. And then I gotta get headphones. I get headphones, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, the audio is bad," because just whenever I pick up headphones, the audio is bad. But I'm using the audio in the microphone still.
So can you still not hear me right now?
I just heard that.
Okay. Great.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, wait a second. Is the microphone also going to come through what you're reading right now? Are you going to stop using the lavalier mic?
Yeah, I'm still going to use the lavalier mic.
Are you still going to use the lavalier?
Hey, how you doing? He just went out.
Hi, Rosemary. Bye, Rosemary.
Okay.
Okay, so you can hear me now in your ear, right? Yeah.
Is the feedback better?
Yeah, there's 0 feedback now. It's perfect.
Can you hear this?
No.
Oh, haha, I can.
Great.
Yeah. Finally.
Can you hear this? Fuck you.
What do you say?
I can.
Oh man.
The real question is, can anybody watching this now, when they're watching it, now which is not now, but in the future, can they hear what you just did? And the answer is probably no.
You can't hear it, they can't hear it. I'm the only guy who's got it.
Yeah, you got the music in your head, bro.
You guys are really missing
out. Crazy person on the planet.
Yeah. I just composed a sonata.
Yeah? What about a Sinatra?
Sinatra. That's life.
Fly with me, let's fly away. I'm composing a Sinatra.
I'm in the green screen.
You're in your own world, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, this block is awesome. Something I've discovered from this is that I can polish my nails. I don't know if you can see how shiny these suckers are.
Damn, dude.
Dude, it's sweet. It's really sweet. So
It looks
I
like you
just
just got like
polished
a manicure or
three
something.
nails over here. I have to do these two still,
Is that
but
nail
it's more just
polish?
like what?
Is that nail polish?
No, no. I was saying that I use this block. It's just like three different grains of sandpaper, pretty much, and
Oh,
it goes from like a coarse to a medium to a fine, and it's just polishing. You're not actually putting anything on it. You're just polishing the existing nail to a shine, and it looks really healthy and it's awesome. Actually, my toenails were looking kind of like grungy, so I polished them. I polished one of them up, and it looks way better than my other one. So I might do that with more of them, or I might not, because nobody really ever sees those, so it doesn't matter. But it's cool to have like shiny nails, and it's really not that much work. Something you could do on a 5 minute walk.
yeah.
Anyway,
That's something
so
you
I
could do as
wasn't
a video. So anyway, it's cool. If you want to be cool, basically shine your nails.
shine on, bro. Shine
Shine, shine on, you crazy diamond.
on. So the work life balance thing, or the work play balance thing, I thought about this because a couple of times in the past week and a half, I've gone out maybe 3 times with coworkers. And you know me, I really never go out. I very infrequently go to bars and clubs and stuff. And a lot of the people that I work with go out frequently. Actually, someone last night said that like 2 of my coworkers go out every night that they work together. Every night. So they're going out like 4 or 5 nights a week, which is crazy. I'm trying to struggle to save for grad school, and they're like going out and blowing every penny on drinking, which like makes me want to strangle them. But um, so I'm out with them a couple times this week, and it's just so much fun. It's crazy how much fun it is. And I don't know if it was because I was never hanging out with the right people at the bars or the clubs, or like the vibe wasn't right, or like these guys are so much different than anybody we grew up with. Like I'm totally exposed to this whole other city thing, and we've talked about that before. But like outgoing people, like into fashion, and they're just like not afraid to talk to anybody. So there's a ton of social interaction, and there's a lot of us too. So when we go out, it's like you're in the bar and you can talk to so many people, and if those people aren't down to talk, you can always go back to these other people that you're with, and it's not like 1 or 2 people. I don't know. It's just weird. So I also have been just considering like how frequently should I be going out, because I am still trying to save a lot, and I don't feel like spending at a bar is really that important. And there are ways to work around it. But like how much of that is going to play into how well I get along with my coworkers, how much fun I'm able to have at work, and just like living, like exploring a social life that I never really had before, like that I never knew existed. And it's only been like 2 or 3 times, but it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. And like being in Manhattan where there's like a lot of cool like bars and stuff, the ones at least without a cover, like it's cool.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that you went out and you've been going. I think you should go out sometimes too, more often than not. More often than not, at least 4 nights a week. No,
It's a crazy thing. More often than not. Yeah, it's definitely more than 50% of the time.
yeah. I meant to say more often than you had been
Right.
previously. Uh, going out's fun. When I went to Austin, that was like a blast.
Oh,
And
Austin, yeah, Austin. The nightlife's awesome over there. It's awesome.
yeah, yeah, it is. So yeah, and like you were saying, or like we were talking about before, I mean, it's just fun. On one hand, it's good for the soul sometimes to just go out and play, and the social life can be good. I mean, a lot of what you're talking about doing, one, interacting with the coworkers, and then interacting with people you're giving tours to, or customers, and people who you want to talk to in future life or business or relationships or anything. Talking is like the main thing right there, and so that like
Yeah.
builds up those social skills, and it's fun. So it's good to do. Yeah, and exploring.
Yes, it's good to do. That's all I need to do here.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh, how about like outdoor play? So you've been in North Carolina now for a while, and you got your membership to that outdoor club where you can go do all sorts of fun things like rafting and biking and kayaking and all that. How do you feel like that plays into also like the play side of it? Because I see like within the category of play versus work, I see play as a very broad. I feel like work is this one thing that you kind of sit down and do, and there is like this productive side of it which is measurable and everything, and then there's like the whole experiential side of play, and there's like playing like like drinking and smoking and having a good time in that manner, if that's the thing that you want to do. And then there's this other side, which is like exploratory, like outside doing what you had been doing lately. So like, what do you think about that? How do you think that is versus other types of play, or how important it is? Kind of a
Oh,
convoluted question. I just said a lot right there. I apologize for not being direct.
it's all good. I'll try to answer and come at a couple different angles with it. So I think it's really important, and I like playing outside a lot. It's really fun playing outside, and it's really fun playing those sports that are at that facility. Or yeah, I don't know how it compares to playing like partying or something. I think that they're both good in different ways. I think that you said how the outdoors one is more exploratory, but
Yeah, I don't know. When I think about being outside, there is this element of exploration to me because it's so unscripted. Like especially when you're in nature, there's nothing scripted about it. It's not like the experience is ever really the same twice. At least in my mind, there is this notion of exploration because of that. Like whereas if you go, it's like uncurated. Like you're curating it in real time versus going to like a movie where you sit down and it's very structured. You don't move for the entire experience, or you go to a bar and you're there in someone else's setting, like something someone else has created for you, which is like this experience of being in the bar. They're curating the music, they're making the drinks, they design the inside of the space versus going to a natural area where it's almost like you're unboxed. Like there's no expectation on you to act a certain way, and that to me it's like it leaves the door open for every type of exploration that you want to do, or any way you want it to happen rather.
yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that kind of outdoor play can be more open and free. Although I think at the same time, it it changes depending on the situation, because you could have like the outdoor facility that I'm at. There's a lot of just woods and stuff out there and different trails I can take, but those are also trails that are built by people, and like they created that
That's true.
experience. And even the nature is built by something that isn't necessarily me. And they built the big rafting circle and stuff like that. Or on the other hand, you could have a party that you host or a friend hosts at your house and make it however you want. You can serve the drinks however you want and put the music on however you want, make a dance floor or not make a dance floor, whatever.
That's true.
And also when you go to bars, you don't have to stay at one bar. You don't have to act in any way. You can hop between 10 different bars and have a totally different experience. And you can just talk to people about whatever. You could talk to these people who you never know. So I think in all ways, play is kind of exploring in that you're doing something new, or maybe it's more playful the more that you're exploring. I mean, even like when you watch a movie, you said that's like, somebody completely set that experience for you, and you're just going to sit down. But it's still like kind of like playful in that you never seen that movie before, and it's like a predefined experience, but it's like you're like exploring a new territory. It's like, I don't know, it's not as playful maybe as going out and partying and going out checking out all these different places and meeting strangers, or going on a escapade and uh like rafting and biking across something. But I feel like playing is kind of like just exploring what there is and just like experiencing a new thing just for the fun of it in itself is maybe how I'd define it.
It's like the fun is the thing that you're getting no matter what you're doing play wise, and it can vary. Yeah, I tend to think of things as more great use of the word escapade, by the way, an act or incident involving excitement, daring, or adventure.
Thanks.
I don't think I've ever accurately used that word.
I'm gonna start up a band called the Escapades.
Um, I guess I usually think of things, you know me, more of like a black and white, like this way or that way kind of person. But when it comes to something like that, I see so much opportunity, and I think that you're talking about even more opportunity as far as exploring things in different ways, which leaves the door open to have a fantastic time wherever, whenever, because you're not putting in, defining terms of the curated experience, or you have to stay in a bar, or you have to do this, that, or other thing. It's like always being down to have fun and play, no matter where you are, even at work, helps to blur those lines and make it like undefined. Because I like when things are undefined because it leaves the door open for like anything to happen. And if you say like work is for work and play is for play, then if there is an opportunity to have fun at work, you're probably not going to take it versus being open to it happening whenever. And I think that that also ties back into like doing what you love for work and playing while you do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you might be able to say that play is a choice at any moment, and play can be a mindset, just a decision on how to interact with the moment. And in that sense, I think that play can be similar or associated with things like mindfulness or like active gratitude, stuff like that. Like I was listening to this podcast with brother Stan David something. He's like some Benedictine monk who's like really all about gratitude. He's like a really good TED talk, and he talks about how like gratitude is, or you don't have to be necessarily grateful. You can't necessarily be grateful for everything, because some things are just like really bad and tough naturally, like war, violence, or stuff like that. But you can be grateful for the opportunity in every moment. Like you can be grateful for the opportunity to learn from something, or just parts of that moment, like that despite how bad that is, you still have the experience of breathing and stuff like that. And it's like in every moment you can choose to be grateful. And kind of in the same way, I don't know, maybe it sounds like a stretch, but you can choose to approach the moment with the play mindset. Like even if you're partying or if you're surfing, great. Like that's pretty easy to approach with a play mindset because you're in the play activity. But even if you're working at something,
You went there with the surfboard.
what's that?
Because you went with the surfboard with the clear intention of having fun and play.
If you're on a surfboard, you're probably there to have fun. Although even in a surfboard, you could be in like a bad situation. You could like get way out there or something, and you could be like, "Oh, this isn't fun anymore." But I don't know, maybe you can still
I'm getting pummeled by the waves right now.
Yeah, right. But maybe in all those moments, though, whether you're getting pummeled by waves or you have like a bunch of work, or you're just in like a monotonous job where you're doing the same thing over and over again, you can still view it as play. It's still a choice you can make. That's something that Alan Watts talked about in a video that I watched recently. I'm really interested in this idea of games and play, and he had this video called "The Game of Life," where he talked about how a bus driver, who, while some might think that's like boring and to be a bus driver every day, but he has a choice to view it as play and enjoy it, like as playing the game of life, being in a big part of it.
Right. Yeah, it's important. It's important to be able to control your own perception and be able to view your situation in any way that you want to. Like all of that control comes from within, because you need to know who you are first so that your situation doesn't dictate who you are. Because it could be easy if you become a bus driver to look at all these other opportunities in life that other people are having and say like, oh, well, I'm just a bus driver, versus finding the appreciation and having the gratitude for the opportunity to do what you're doing. There's just always endless opportunities. So it's like, how do you stay happy and excited with the choices that you've made, knowing that there are always choices that you didn't make and opportunities that you could have had that you chose one way over the other. And like almost like the grass is always greener. So like, how do you stay happy with what you have, knowing that there's so much more out there?
Yeah, well,
I just digressed away from the original thing that we were saying, which was like the mindset of just gratitude. So if it's hard to answer that question, it's because I, again, talk way too much.
Could you, hey, that happens to me all the time. Could you just like explain it again briefly? Because I'm a bit, I might be a bit distracted.
It's cool. It's cool. So I just pretty much, to recap, I was talking about the idea that we have to make a decision. We make decisions all the time. We make decisions throughout the day, throughout every day, every moment of our lives. We make probably like thousands of decisions a day, probably as small as they come to as big as they come.
Yeah.
And from all those decisions, you have choice A, choice B. And if you choose choice A, no matter how good choice A is, you don't have choice B now. Because if you're choosing, it means that you're picking one over the other. So at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of a decade, you look back and you have all these choices that you've made, but you know that there are opportunities that you did not take. There are choices that you did not make, and you decided to go with certain things. So like in the instance of the bus driver, to bring it back to that, he finds a way, like you said, like you incorporated like the game of whatever, however, what was the verbiage you used on that? What did he call it? Something game?
The game of life, I think.
Okay, yeah, so the game of life. Like if he's controlling his perception. He's looking at it a certain way. He's choosing to look at it a certain way.
Yeah.
So frequently in life, people just they try to objectively see like what it is in my life, like what is it in my life that's good or bad or whatever, based on what's being given to me, or like what I have, or like what I'm doing, instead of internalizing it first and saying, what am I grateful for? And to stop letting everything from the outside dictate how we feel, like going from the inside and dictating how we feel out.
Yeah.
Like just the idea, simply the idea basically of controlling your perception, to look at everything the way that you want to have the best possible outcome and the best possible state of mind every single day. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that all those things, like the playful mindset, being grateful, being happy, being satisfied, it's like a choice we make at any moment. At any moment that you're feeling happy or feeling in flow, you keep on feeling that by having that mindset, even though sometimes it's very difficult because the circumstances externally change, but it's still something you can practice to keep, I think. And in any moment that you're feeling down or not satisfied, or like you're just overworked or stressed out or whatever, that sometimes it's very difficult to see that choice, but there's always that choice to be having fun in it, to be viewing it as a game, to be viewing it as something to be grateful for. And I think that is really important. I think that it's like you were saying, it's like the story we tell ourselves is everything. It's like the decision that we make, the thing that's in our heads is like, that's how much we get out of it. That's what we make of our experience, what we make of it. And so it's like, it's everything for me. It just keeping that in mind so that I can have the best time that I can while I'm here.
Definitely. Experience is everything. I just wanted to, like, while you were talking, I wanted to like close my eyes and just listen.
Yes.
I started closing my eyes and I was like, this wouldn't make any sense to somebody watching, but sometimes there's so much right now. There's so much stimulus going on visually. I have 4 lights in my face. I have the computer right here. And there's just like, there's a stupid little teddy bear over here. I get so distracted by everything.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to, I feel like what you were saying was really, really important. So I wanted to close my eyes and just kind of like, I'll probably go back and watch this again and skip to that part, close my eyes and listen, because you said the experience is everything. It is. It's absolutely everything. And we are the ones that we have the power to control the experience. And it's all controlled from inside out. You have to learn to live from within out rather than without in.
Yeah.
All this stimuli and everything. There's so much of it. I was reading something the other day, and it really, I was listening to something on YouTube, just like a motivational short by somebody that I have to share some information with you. I could probably Google it while we're doing this and share it. But I found a couple of really good outlets of information, motivational stuff. But this guy was talking about guarding your focus, and how with everything going on today, like you could have a really fantastic idea and then this bus passes in front of you and it has this crazy logo or like a picture of something on it that totally distracts
my attention.
Yeah, it's like my attention is out of my head and it's like over here now, and I have to like rope it back in and try to
bagels.
Yeah. Oh, and now I'm hungry, and now I have to think. I'm like, oh, what's my favorite bagel? A salt bagel. Like, do I give into that right now? Should I just go get that bagel? And like, and guarding your focus, like this is your focus. What is it that you want? Is it this thing? Like, how do you have to get there? And like the focus is almost like the path to getting to the thing. and the focus can zigzag all over the place throughout the day. And all of a sudden at the end of the week, you realize you only thought about that thing maybe 15 minutes and it was scatterbrained and it wasn't focused. And maybe you had a good time doing whatever you're doing, thinking about some girl or a song that you got obsessed with or whatever. But there's so much to be said about actually focusing, and not all the time, but at least not letting the things that are important slip away. So again, like tying back into like curating the experience, and the experience is everything. When I think about my experience throughout the day, if I have goals, which I do, I want a lot of my focus to be on those goals, because the more you focus on anything, the more it happens. The law of attraction.
Yeah. I had 2 points. Now both gone.
You do not guard your focus. I'm the biggest attraction to you right now.
Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of like information diet. Like there's so much stimulus out there, just in the world.
It's endless.
Yeah. But at the same time, we have like maybe an unbelievable amount of control. Seems like we don't sometimes, but it's like.
Well, the ability to control and actually implement to control are different. We all have the ability to control to some degree, but not everybody controls at all.
Yeah.
Some people will sit down. I have a coworker I was talking to yesterday. I was like, "Oh, how was your day off?" Because we both were off yesterday. We met to go into the city for this event, and she was like, "I had like a super unproductive day." And I was like, "What happened?" She bought herself a guitar 3 months ago. She wants to learn how to play. She wanted to get like a bunch of other stuff done yesterday. Like, she's like, I just got sucked into watching TV. Like, one of the first things she did in the morning was she had a cup of coffee, she sat down, and next thing you know, like 7 hours went by and she'd watched a ton of TV, and not even like not educational stuff. Like, there was no learning going on. It was just like Netflix style stuff.
Yeah.
And it amazed me, like, that is somebody who, even though she's a great person, she doesn't, it's got nothing to do with the fact that she can't focus. She doesn't actively guard her focus. And when you get into a really good, deep conversation with her and all those distractions are gone, she's great. But if she's left to her own devices, she's not actively focusing at all.
Yeah.
It's just like a stream of consciousness is like a swing. It's all over the place.
And so it's kind of like important for all of us, I think, in that we're all vulnerable to that, and that like we have so much choice in any moment to view it, to do what we want, and also to view it how we want, but so easily because there's so much stimulus coming in to distract us. It's very easy to get distracted. So it kind of like brings importance to choice and brings on a reason to take that choice seriously. Like I think it's good to be talking about it here and now. I think it's good to talk about it in general, because the more we talk about it, the more we realize this choice is one. We have a very big choice on what we want to do with our time, and also in how we want to think of that, what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to forget that choice in a moment to moment, or for 7 hours at a time,
Yeah.
or for 7 years or whatever. And time goes by quick. So I think it's very important, if your goal is to, if you have any goal really, and then you want to achieve that goal or stick that goal, or whether that be an external goal or just to enjoy yourself moment to moment as much as you can, like an internal goal, to, I don't know, I guess constantly remind yourself about that choice that you have, and to, I don't know, take it seriously. Maybe like put in things in your life that'll help you remember that, like talking with a friend about it, or I don't know, putting up signs or whatever works for you.
Yeah, like fill your visual field with things that perpetuate your goal setting or achieving.
Yeah, just to help yourself internalize it.
Like if you constantly read, well, yeah. I think the visual field thing, people talk about vision boards. Vision boards are wildly successful because we are so much affected by what we see in our visual field. So you see something every day while you're getting dressed. That's just more like screen time for your goals. It's like, give your goals screen time. People buy ads out on TV during the Super Bowl because screen time is incredibly important and valuable when everybody's watching. In
Yeah.
your own world,
Even
give
if you
your
don't think you're
goals.
paying attention, it still gets through to you.
Right. Like let your goals have some floor time with your or screen time in your visual field. Put up things on your wall. Like the walls are everywhere, and you see
Yeah.
them every
The
day.
walls are everywhere.
And if they're blank, it's like a bunch of blank billboards in New York, like in Lower Manhattan. Like that would be incredibly wasteful, and people
Yeah.
would pay big bucks. If companies could get into the wallpaper business, if ad companies, I'm sure eventually they will, imagine the value that McDonald's would see in wallpapering the inside of like children's bedrooms. Could you imagine what the value of that would be?
Yeah.
Like it would be worth billions of dollars to them because they are itching to get into the lives of children and catch them young. And that's why it's so important also from a young age to grow your children's visual stimulations, and control that and curate that. But it's equally as important for us as adults to be able to do it to ourselves. Like we have to parent ourselves and do that like visually. And I'm guilty, dude. The only thing I have in my room is there's a couple of things, but the main thing is the whiteboard. But I don't have visuals printed out or anything. Like I have just kind of dropped the ball on that. But if I was focusing more, I wouldn't have.
And how helpful has the whiteboard been?
Oh, the whiteboard has been invaluable.
Yeah.
Invaluable. I don't know what I use it literally every single day. It's interactive because I write on it and erase from it every single day. And the visual it takes the stress out of having to think about it all the time. Your focus is only in your mind for like 40 seconds. Like things last in your short-term memory for like 40 seconds. Like a new idea, I've heard statistically lasts for about 40 seconds if you don't write it down. Like the inspiration surrounding it is gone after 40 seconds. So it's easy to have a good, and how many ideas you've had, probably a million. And we've had a lot together that when we don't write them down, they're gone, or we try to revisit them and the inspiration is not there. So like to capture it. And I think that's why, again, like video, we talk about this all the time. Video is so important because you capture it and you could play that back. And now just imagine our friendship has existed for probably 2 decades now, which is awesome. That's like gets me right here. Imagine I put up, or you put up, or we both put up a TV in our room that is dedicated to showing streaming reels of our friendship. All the videos that we've ever taken together, instead of storing them on a hard drive, now we store them in a cloud file that this TV accesses and plays constantly, which is always up to date with the most current YouTube videos. Any videos we take on our phones of each other, like all this stuff, it's always looping our friendship. And we see this regularly. Think about how much more that would feed into your consciousness of me. Just like it's just so powerful to see those visuals.
You just be thinking about friendship a lot more often and thinking about good times rather than any times when, I don't know, either you're focused on something else or not focused on anything in particular, having that, like those good memories and those good ideas to surround you. It's like we talked a lot about it, and it's still a goal of mine, but I haven't done it yet. I mean, I have worked on getting stuff up. Like I have a whiteboard and I have a little blackboard and I have a cork board. But I don't see it as often as I'd like to, because they're kind of small. But we talked about like having the whole wall whiteboard, and I think that's a really cool idea. Or having all the walls whiteboard, which is an even cooler idea. It's 4 times cooler idea.
Dude, I walked into one of the meeting rooms at Samsung corporate the other day, like the corporate side of it, to talk to somebody, and the entire wall was whiteboard. And I was just like really proud of whoever did that. I was talking to my manager. I was like, this is what all the walls everywhere should be like. This is fucking awesome. I actually am going to be pushing to get a whiteboard in the break room where I am, because I feel like my team needs inspiration and motivation throughout. So I'm going to ask everybody my goal is to have a whiteboard and have each day a different person who's working write something inspirational on there. And then at the end of that day, I take a picture of that quote, get it printed up on a picture and post it to the wall. So like on Wednesday, if there's an inspirational quote from John, Thursday, John's inspirational quote would have been taken a picture of and printed out on the wall. And then every day moving forward, it's like that's like the thought box, and then it becomes the reality. It becomes it's like posted everywhere from everybody. So it'd be like built by the team, inspiration, team building, and we can reflect on it in real time every day. I think that should be something in everybody's lives.
Yeah, definitely. On my own kind of level, I've been kind of working on doing that for myself, like with writing down stuff in the whiteboard and stuff like that, and that's pretty good. And then also using stuff like Evernote is helpful just to remember it for a long time. And so I'll pretty voraciously, whenever I see like a quote that I find inspiring or anything that I like, that I want to see again, I'll save it in some way. Like I'll write it down, or I'll take a picture of it and save it in Evernote, or just take a picture of it and have it in my photos. And then looking back on it and making the time every day, or just putting it accessibly, like having the screen come up with memories of our friendship or memories of anything cool is a really cool idea. It's kind of like when we lived in Austin, we had the projector running and we put like pretty cool stuff up in the background. And it could be all sorts of stuff. It could be like memories from our past, which is really good. Or you could have that in addition to another projector TV if you have the means and you have the space. And on that one is just like, I don't know, maybe it's nature, which makes you just like, it's great to see that beautiful stuff. And maybe another one is like a bunch of inspirational quotes and stuff like that you've saved and whatnot. So surrounding yourself with all these ideas, and you're right that video is a great way to do it. One of the things that I've been getting into in having all this stuff saved in Evernote and saved that I've been collecting, and partially I want to put up some stuff on my walls and physically surround my space. Well, my wall space is a bit limited, but I can still do it a bit more than I am right now. But with everything that I'm creating, I'm kind of creating like for my own intrinsic goals of just like living well, of just enjoying things more, like of remembering all this stuff that we're talking about, like play and gratitude and all that stuff is a choice you can make, and all this like inspirational stuff that a lot of it we talk about and would be included if we had like our TV with friendship and ideas and stuff like that. And I guess I'm taking a while to get to it, but what I'm working on now and what I've started to do, although I'm planning to do a lot more, is using the stuff that I create in a lot of sense, like stuff that I post on Instagram or post on Vine, that is just like stuff that I find really inspiring. So it's the stuff that I find inspiring to myself, and then focusing on that during the time that it takes to work on and produce and actually create it, and then sharing it so that one, I'm sharing it so that if people also like that kind of thing, then they can see it, and then we can form a relationship through that, and meeting the others and meeting people who are interested in that same kind of thing. And I like, after I make something, I like to watch it, and I just get kind of like obsessed with it. And so if it's like a cool idea or a cool quote, and then it's got like a cool video included or something, and I'm just like, wow. And then the more I do that, the more this cool quote or whatever has gotten like imprinted in my brain. So over time, I'm just trying to make it so like what I'm working on, what I'm making is lined up with what I want to remember the most, what I want to internalize the most, to live well, to make the most of life, and to enjoy it as much as I can, and then also help or make that accessible so other people can see it too, and so that I can meet people who are also interested in the same thing. So everything is kind of like more feedback loops to enjoying what we're doing more, to learning how to live well more, by having all this inspirational, beautiful, and fun stuff just surrounded as much as I can, at least. Sorry if that took away a long time. I got kind of excited about it. That's what's on my mind.
No, it sounded like you were in the flow. That's the best. That's the best. And you're right. It has to be focused on, and it has to be, the feedback like refines the ideas too. And it's like the feedback loop to me is not just a loop. It's like a tunnel where it builds upon within the tunnel. Like the feedback loop to me is like a series of small loops. It's like this. It's like if the tunnel goes from here to here, it's like loops like this, like loops moving forward and up.
It's like a helix. It's like DNA, and it goes faster as you go.
Yeah, the feedback helix. That's what it is.
Hey, that's a good one.
Have become feedback helix.
Yeah, because the loop just goes around and around, but the helix moves on. And
I want to see
it goes somewhere.
I want to see a business logo for the idea feedback helix, and it's just like helix. It says like feedback helix, and then it's like this like upward spiral like exponential growth graph
Yeah.
of a helix going up a graph. I'm gonna go draw. Let's go draw that right now. You're wireless.
Okay.
I have a whiteboard.
There we go. Then let's go put this in practice and write the walls.
Yeah, let's go do this. This is my whiteboard right now, by the way, for everybody to see. What do I have on there? Is that written backwards or forwards for you?
That's right. Forward.
Okay.
What they want to become.
So yeah,
Train.
so I had this idea like speak of the thing, sell the emotion, and then speak to what they want, sell to who they want to become. Because behind every idea of what we want, there's something about who we want to become. We want to become better people and become smarter, faster, bigger, stronger. And it's when you attach emotion to it that it becomes real for people. I'm going to quickly put this in here.
I gotta get going in like 10 minutes, by the way, Mike.
Oh, okay.
And it's not just in the stuff that I'm working on creating, but also just the videos and stuff that we talk about. Like whenever having a good idea, taking the video camera out and then having that down so you can see it again sometime.
Mm-hmm. I know I have it on me right now. So
Are you eating the marker?
I'm trying to be creative right now. So it's like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Now I have to figure out how to put these down. Oh, there we go.
That might be like life too.
I'm pretty excited. Actually, today I ordered, just before we started this, I ordered 3 Fiverr logo designs for the Empowerment Project. So I'm really excited. I should have those back by a week from today.
Cool.
All of them. Yeah, man, I'm really excited.
Yeah, let me know what they look like.
Yeah, for sure. I'll get your opinion on them when I get. Oh, I never sent you the. I want to forward you the Empowerment Project flyer.
Oh yeah,
came out really well. Do I have it in my downloads folder? I don't know. Any big plans this weekend?
No, not right now. It's been raining a lot. It's gonna stop raining tomorrow, which is awesome. And no, I'm probably gonna go out, do like some big sport or something tomorrow. Take advantage of the sun.
Yes. Working on any good videos?
Yeah, well, I've been working on a few comedy vines, and just before this, I had a recording session with the guitar, and I recorded a few songs that I wrote, which I hadn't really done yet, with everything finally set up. Everything's set up the right way now, which is awesome. And yeah, so it was the first time that I did that. I got my finger stuck. Oh shit!
What?
I shouldn't have done that. I got my finger stuck. I gotta go fix this.
So for a second, I wasn't watching you, and you're like, I got my fingers stuck. I'm trying to imagine what it could look like, and this is funnier than I could have imagined. You're okay.
Man, this isn't funny.
Don't pull on it. Don't pull on it, and don't freak out.
I'd put it in like hot water or cold water or something.
No, I wouldn't even do that. It's not going to get any worse. First of all, just remember that. So just cool, just like breathe. I would probably go into the kitchen and get some olive oil and put it like drip it on your finger and let it go around there and just kind of start wiggling it back and forth until it gets out. But don't tense up your finger. Just let it be totally relaxed, and just maybe after you put the oil on it, run it under. I don't know if hot water or cold water. You think hot water would make the thing expand?
I don't know. I'll ask my parents to see what they think, because they usually know about that thing. This is so stupid. It's like on my fingers. This is why I shouldn't stick my fingers and play. There was no reason for me to do that. It was just like
okay. So for the past 10 minutes, I've been waiting for you to play that, and I thought you were going to play it.
Well, not now. I can't now.
Dan, everybody, with the finger pipe.
Yep, this is where play gets me.
Well, on that note,
I take back everything I said. Stop playing. Don't ever do it.
Oh man, yeah. So work-play balance and a bunch of other things that we just talked about. That was a great talk. You never know where it's going to take you.
It was a good talk. Yeah, I think more in the flow than some of the other talks. One other thing that I wanted to say that's related to this before we go,
Hmm.
that I don't even know if I can explain it well, because I'm still not sure how to explain it myself. But there's this book that I heard about and I read over the past year, constantly in my mind, about play and about work and about life. And I don't know. I feel like it's a good thing to bring up here. I don't know if you heard it before. It's kind of it's not a big, too popular book, but it's called Finite and Infinite Games, and it's like I think it's called A Vision and a Philosophy of Life and Play.
I heard about the idea of playing the. I think Jason Silva had.
Yeah, he's had a video about it. He talked about it a little bit in the
Okay.
video, but not that much. The
Okay.
title was that name, but he only like briefly talked about the subject itself. But yeah, I guess he did really. But there's a lot to it in the book, and there's a lot more than he mentioned as well.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's basically like it's kind of weird. It's like a lot of the book he's just defining the difference between an infinite game and a finite game, and he talks about how a finite game is like any game which has a winner and a loser, and you're playing the game to win, and like there's two teams competing, and there's all these different like prerequisites or factors which make it finite games. Whereas an infinite game is a game that you play to keep playing the game.
Right. Like life.
Yeah, it's like life. It can include other finite games in there, and uh, there's no winner or loser. It doesn't necessarily end. Are you still there, Mike? Mike is gone. It ended. We were playing a finite game, and it's not there. No, I don't know. I don't know where he went. Anyway, I only have my finger unstuck, and I'll probably talk with Mike. Oh, there he is. Where'd he
Hey,
go?
I heard there's where there's no winner or loser, and then something happened. I think I did it on my end. I was trying to send
Oh,
you a
okay.
file at the same time we were talking, and I'm going to now do that now because it cut me off.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, finite game. There's no winner or loser, and the main thing, I guess, to sum it up, is like you just play to keep playing, and I feel like that is one. It's a really cool way to look at life. Like I'm playing just to play, and it's a cool. It kind of goes along with what we were talking about before, how it's choice in every moment, how you could be viewing it as a game, and no matter what you're doing, whether it's I don't know work you don't want to be doing, or work you want to be doing, a play, a game you want to be doing, a game you don't want to be doing, life in general. I don't know. I don't really know how to talk about it too much because I'm still trying to like digest and apply it to life. But it's something that like the idea I think is an interesting idea, in that you play to keep playing. You play for the sake of the game.
I think that you can be happier knowing that there's no end to it, like that there is no mad dash to finish the game of life, or that anything where you're playing to play. Like I don't really know what any other examples of playing to play would be. Maybe like reading something fun, like reading a novel. I feel like that's almost playing to play. Like you're not reading so that you can finish the book. You're reading so that you can continue to read. Like you don't read every book like wondering or expecting that to be the last book you're ever going to read. You keep reading
Yeah,
to read. Like you're reading to be better in life. You're doing things to be
it's
better.
about the journey, not the destination.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like playing music.
Yeah, you're not playing to win.
Right. And if you're not in the moment while you're playing, then you're not really playing.
Yeah, and this stuff really applies to music. Like to be having that conscious decision in every moment that you're playing, just to be playing, not necessarily to I don't know get something out of it, like winning or something. It's something that's kind of like I don't know, very important, maybe essential in playing well. Mm. I was listening to a podcast with Yo-Yo Ma yesterday, and he talked about uh, it's not about proving anything; it's just about sharing something. And if everything goes wrong, he messes up. Just everybody's there to enjoy the special moment, be there for a special moment. So it's greater than whatever the song was supposed to be, or it's greater than what you might have planned it to be or envisioned what it should be like. It's just what it is, and being there at every moment, even if things go wrong and like, you know, the guitar gets untuned or you forget the words or the chords or whatever, starts sounding bad, just being there and still regarding it as something that's special to be enjoyed, to keep playing with it, not take it overly seriously, I guess.
I think another good example is like playing with a dog. Like there can never be. I don't think you could ever even apply an end result to playing with a dog. Like you're playing with a dog, the dog is so in the moment that you can't help it to be in the moment, and they're only playing to keep playing.
Yeah.
And once they're exhausted, they're done. But it's not an end result. Like it's like there's always going to be more play, and all they want to do is play. And all I want to do when I'm with my dogs is play with them.
Yeah, and that's like friendship or a relationship or a family or maybe life and death too. You just keep playing until you get tired, and then you keep playing when you get more energy, and then you're tired, you keep playing.
Let's keep playing.
Keep playing, man. All right, well, first, before I get playing, I got to take this off my finger. So I'm going to do that now.
I think the what is that, a recorder? The recorder might not be your instrument.
It's a zaffoon.
It's a zaffoon.
Yeah.
A buffoon in a zassoon.
That's right. That's what this is, a buffoon in a zaffoon.
I'd like to read a short story or an article or a book one day from you saying, like, describing the day you got stuck in a sassoon.
It's going to be called the buffoon and the zaffoon. That's a good name for it.
All right, man. I'll let you go so you can go oil up and slip out of that thing.
Okay, man.
For anybody listening just to this potentially on a podcast, it's not what it sounds like.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see you later, bud. I hope you have a great day.
Hey, man, you too. Bye. Thanks for setting this up today and recording and all.
All right. Yeah, man. All right. See you.
Bye-bye.